Hey, is is your name pronounced Luke Luo? I'm sorry if I butchered your name.
No, it's fine. That's right.
That's cool. Right. So you're here for the discussion also, right?
I thought we may as well come for both.
Ah, right. Cool. That sounds good. I mean, I was like, maybe people wouldn't want to, come take 30 more minutes to attend the discussion. So this will be our first discussion because there was some confusion last week. So we'll keep this brief to 30 minutes, and then at the end I'll ask you like about feedbacks and what you'd want to talk about or what you think we should improve and all that stuff. Cool. Right. So I'll get this. Okay, it's recording, I guess. Yeah. By the way, what's your major?
Computer science major.
Oh, okay, fine. So you're a second year or a sophomore, freshman?
First year.
Oh, freshman, cool. So what path are you planning to choose? Because I heard like in ComSci you've got like number of paths like the data science track, the machine learning.
Yeah, I'm planning to go on the data science track.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, not considering machine learning and all? I mean, it sounds like a very promising and exciting field, right?
I've already done a little bit of machine learning. I already have one of those. I already have a different Udacity course on machine learning under my belt.
Oh, okay, fine. So are you in some fire program or something?
No, I just did it over the summer because I felt like it.
Oh, okay. You're on Udacity. Was it like free or a paid?
Um, it was free, but it was a free 1 month offer.
Oh, okay. 1 month offers. Right, right. That makes sense. Ah, okay. So you, what is it called? Udacity, right?
Yeah.
Do they still have that offer, or was it only for the summer?
I think it was just for the summer. I don't think it's there anymore.
As long as it's free, it's good, right? Okay, we've got a third participant. Okay, hey Tanmay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right, so I'll just share the screen. Something. Give me a moment.
I'm not sharing it.
Yeah.
Well, you shared the slides. That's for sure.
Okay, I'll share the slide. Just give me a moment. Present.
Only going to be one person here, or just there be more at least?
Or, I mean, you see it? Nobody else. This is gonna be. Come on. Just put it up on the. Anyone else? Only 3 participants till now. So we'll wait for like another 5 minutes, and then if I know nobody else comes, and guess we can just start. 4:30. Well, okay, we've got 5. That's great.
All right, people are starting to come now.
We're getting numbers. That's great. Oh, I feared the worst, but it's a good start. So we've got how many of them? 1, 2, 3. Great.
All right, 4.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep. Can hear. Fantastic.
Awesome.
10 people. Great. That's a start. Okay, so can we get started, or do we wait for like another couple of minutes?
I think we can get started.
Right, cool. So, yeah, I mean, you people can come as and when you want. So, okay, so it's recording. Cool. So, good evening to one and all present here. This is our very first discussion. We couldn't have a discussion last week because of some confusion about what timings would be appropriate, and then that caused a lot of problems. So, today is our first official discussion. So now, as the name suggests, discussion, it's not really like the discussion that you think about when you do like courses and all. It's not academic in the sense that you have to like apply whatever you learned to do something else. It's just you can consider this as a coffee session, one where you just talk about things, just listen to things, and share your opinion. So for our first discussion, we decided to take a very interesting part, because right now, as we all know, it's NBA finals time. So we decided, why don't we talk about the application of AI in sports? So now sports is something that all of us like. I mean, it's the one thing that, unites all of us, that all of us want to see, and all of us get, or not all, at least most of us enjoy watching because of the thrills, because of the storylines and all that stuff. You've got basketball, you've got baseball, and American football. Like, these are the most popular sports here, but outside of America, you've got sports like soccer, cricket, and all that, which drives and pulsates people. Because, come on, there's nothing more thrilling than watching a sports team do the unthinkable or doing fantastic things. Sports is something that all of us enjoy because there are entertaining things that happen. Sports and entertainment kind of like go hand in hand nowadays. Now, with respect to sport, I want to ask you all a question. What do you think makes an ideal player? If you don't want to if you don't want to use the audio, you can message. So what, in your opinion, makes an ideal player? And for this case, let's take the example of basketball. What do you think makes an ideal player? Anyone?
There's no right or wrong answers, guys.
Yeah, you guys can say anything. You don't need to be correct in terms of technical terms and all. Anyone has got any inputs?
Coordination,
fair
agility.
enough.
Coordination.
Cool.
Consistency.
What?
Consistency.
Consistency. Perfect. Anything else?
Speed.
Okay, speed. That sounds good. Okay, so I mean, you can also talk about shooting, how fast you should be, how coordinated. So you see, there are a lot of aspects. Like when you play NBA 2K21 or 2K, you can create players, and then you've got this stats column here, like where you can change the value in order to depending on what kind of a player you want. So this is like one of those typical templates that you use to adjust player stats and all. Now, this works in 2K. You can create the ideal player who's good at literally everything. You just need to click that number and raise it up to the max. Like 99, I think, is what the maximum rating can be, right? And that's how it works on 2K. But in real life, this doesn't work because real life is not equal to 2K21. You can't go in real life, take some mud and then create a player with all these stats and then just do some magic and there you go. You have a new superb player. Because, I mean, if that were the case, then I guess Houston Rockets would have won a couple of NBAs by now, but that's not how things work. But then how many of you like basketball here? I've got to ask you, how many of you like basketball? You guys can say, okay, we've got chats, love sports, okay, cool. Okay, are you all watching, any of you following the NBA finals this year? The Lakers versus the Heats. Okay, we've got someone who said no.
I love sports. You can use the raising hand option if you like to answer questions, guys. If you don't want to, if you can't speak or whatnot.
Right. So, so the NBA Finals is happening right now, and it's between the Lakers and the Heats. And I mean, if any of you watched the first game and thought you're going to expect like a fantastic game, it wasn't. The Lakers just blew the Heats out like they were termites. I was expecting a more thrilling game, but it wasn't. So personally, I think the Lakers are going to win it this year, but let's hope for some different storylines. So let's get back on topic. So like I said, real life does not equal 2K21 because it's not fairyland or whatever made up world you want it to be. So in that scenario, what do people do in real life? I mean, as a person who as people who are kind of interested in sports, what do you think people have to do in order to, get the best players and all? Any inputs? You guys can use a chat function or you can just say anything using the audio function. Anyone?
Don't be afraid. This is a safe space. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be.
Wait, so what do they do to recruit like new players?
Yeah.
To
Okay.
get talent? They send scouts out, right, to like local schools or like college basketball teams, and they try to look for talent, look for certain.
Absolutely. So recruiting and scouting is one, and then someone said practice. Anything else? Okay, I mean these two. Okay, bribe them. Well, I mean,
if you can get away with it.
yeah, right. I mean, if you're very good at bribing and not, leaking it out, then fair enough. That works. But we're talking about in the strict legal sense. So bribing doesn't quite fit the bill. But yeah, like you all said, practicing and recruiting and scouting. These are the two main ways. Or, another way of recruiting the best talent is not recruit, you buy them. Like what the Lakers did in 2017 when they got LeBron James. Or if any of you follow soccer, like what, how many of you follow Real Madrid, the soccer team? Or do you guys know about it?
I know about it, but not really. Just heard about it.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, Real Madrid is like a soccer team in Europe. They're like one of the best teams in Europe and in history. And one of the strategies that they followed is they bought the best players on the market by spending the big bucks. And that's something that, teams do if they want to get instant success. They buy the best players at big bucks or at big contracts. So these are the couple of ways that teams recruit players. And into this mix, we're going to talk about the impact of data analytics in sports, and specifically in the case of NBA. Now, why I want to talk about data analytics in sports is because it is changing the way in which basketball is being played on the professional level. And this is a statistic that I want to show you all. So as you can see in the statistics, over the course of the last 10 to 20 years, the mid-range jumper shots have gone from 38% to 19%, and the three-point shooting has gone from 13% to 33%. Now, I hope most of you know what. Can I share this chat with anyone? I guess, I don't know. Right. So for those of you who follow basketball, and if you watch basketball, that is, you would have noticed that nowadays a lot of more teams take three-pointers more than it was in the in the past. And there is a reason why this stat is, following the trend that we can see right now in front of us. And one of the main driving factors as to why we see this drastic change in statistics is due to this man and this process. How many of you know Daryl Morey?
And he's a general manager of the Houston Rockets. Anyone know him?
Any of you heard about him? I mean, even on if you watch Stephen A or someone, criticizing him, have you heard of him at any point? I mean, if you haven't, it's fine, because frankly speaking, he's not a former basketball player turned GM. He is a computer science major who graduated from Yale, and he's a general manager of Houston Rockets. Now, he seems like a person who doesn't seem that important, but he's one of the main reasons as to why we're seeing this drastic shift of landscape in the NBA arena. And his process, and he started this revolution called Morey Ball. So what is Morey Ball? We can help you understand that through a video. Can you all watch it? Can you all hear it?
I don't think we can.
No, we can't hear it, but we can see it.
Oh, you can't hear it? Sorry, what's the issue?
Just play it on a different tab and then share the screen.
Or just share with audio, reshare it. but
When you
with
share
audio.
screen, you have to click a box that says enable audio.
Oh, okay. Enable audio. Wait. Where does it say that?
When
sorry.
you hit share screen, at the bottom left, there should be a little checkbox.
Oh, share computer audio. Cool. Sounds good. Can you all hear this now?
Increase the volume of the YouTube video.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry, can you guys hear it?
No.
Mm-mm.
Guys, I still can't hear it. Crap. Just give me a moment. Okay, that's not good. Wait. Guys, still can't hear it?
You want me to share it?
Yeah, why don't you share it, Tanmay? That would be good. Technical glitches, the worst. Yeah, you can.
Were you able to hear that? Oh.
Can't hear it.
Where was the enable computer audio? No.
It's share screen audio.
Oh, share computer sound.
Invisible, powerful force is lifting professional basketball to new heights.
You can hear that now?
No, but it's choppy.
Yes.
Do something, Tanmay. I'll share it, and Tanmay, if you stop sharing, I can share it. And all right, so let's see if this works. Hopefully, it should. Share computer audio. Share. Can you? Is it choppy?
An invisible, powerful force.
There we go.
They boast.
Is it choppy, or can you? Is it like a?
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's good
okay.
enough.
Cool.
Some of the sport's biggest stars, including the NBA's most valuable player in 2018.
Offensively what we're trying to do and defensively what we're trying to do. So the focus is trying to be on the same page every possession for every game.
In the past decade, the Rockets have risen from mid-table mediocrity to serious NBA championship contenders. But it's not just big names that have fueled this dramatic ascent. It's big data.
The data that we go over is definitely important. I think it gives us a little bit of an edge. To keep a balance of data and instinct is a big thing.
The Rockets' recent success owes much to their pioneering decision to start crunching data about every aspect of their game. And this is the man responsible.
analytics has really permeated everything. Our edge has allowed us to win the most games, 65 last year.
Computer scientist Daryl Morey is the sport's foremost data and statistics guru among NBA bosses.
You can break winning down into two things. One is how many points do you get per possession, and then how do you get extra possessions?
10 years ago, Daryl set out to find that winning formula. The Rockets were one of 4 NBA teams to install a pioneering video tracking system which mined raw data from games. What they discovered changed the way teams tried to win. The data revealed which shots provided the best bang for buck, 2-point dunks, and 3-pointers, shot from outside the 3-point line, rather than long-range 2-point shots from inside it.
It's pretty dramatic how powerful the three-point shot is. You only have to make a third of your three-point shots to be worth a half of your two. Even within that, there's an extra miss. You might rebound offensively.
Let's face up, pulls the trigger, buries it.
In the 1990s, long 2-point shots from just inside the 3-point line were common. But Daryl's analysis showed that statistically, these shots provided the worst return. The number of attempted 3-point shots has increased every year for the past decade. In the 2017-18 season, the Rockets made more 3-pointers than any other team in NBA history. And this was a major reason they won more games than any of their rivals.
Every percentage matters in sports, and extracting those percentages is what's really become much easier with data. We're in a pretty big transformational stage in sports.
Co-founded Second Spectrum. The analytics company gathers and codes a vast range of increasingly granular data for all 30 NBA teams.
Right, it feels like 2D chess pieces.
Cameras now track and record 3D spatial data for every player and ball movement at 25 frames per second. Machine learning technology uses this huge volume of data to produce interactive visualizations, allowing teams to analyze the minutiae of their performances and achieve marginal gains on court.
At first, we taught the machine about 20 terms. Right now, it knows over 500 basketball terms. So the machine is essentially the integrated knowledge of all the elite basketball coaches.
There is a particular focus on all-important data around player movement and the probability of making a shot.
What we can do with the machine is to say, look at all the shots like this one, and tell me the chance that this shot really could go in, either for this player or for an average player. And you bring in all the things that a person can see, not just where they're standing, but how they're moving, what type of a shot they're trying to take, where are the defenders, and what we can do is we can put a number to what previously was a feeling or something qualitative.
Data analysis has even changed the type of players that successful teams like the Rockets have. Players today are on average leaner and more agile.
Having skilled players, even if they're a little smaller, is more important than having bigger guys who are less skilled.
When it comes to recruiting new players from the college draft each season, poring over data on player performance has given the Rockets a winning edge.
We've been able to eke out about a 5% edge, and that actually turns out to be a massive advantage.
Pro basketball's finale for the NBA title.
Basketball has constantly changed, but it's about to enter a brave new world, where data could be courtside in the hands of coaches, helping to swing a game as it happens.
The data is always getting faster and faster. The data used to take hours. We've got it down to minutes, and very soon it'll be down to seconds. It's basically going to become functionally real-time very, very soon. I don't think we've scratched the surface of what's possible with data.
So that was a clip, that was a video on how the Houston Rockets have implemented data analytics in sports. Now, basically from what you watched, you realize that what they do is they install cameras above the court, which analyzes the movement of players and how they set up screens, how they are on the defense and all. So if you notice, or I mean, if you had seen the video carefully, this is a statistic that should come as no surprise to you all. As on the left, you can see the overall NBA points per shot in the 2014-2015 season. Now, if you look at the graph, you can see those red or the darker red marks are the ones which were taken, which according to the scale says efficiency by location. So if you look at the red spots, you can see that they're more towards the corner threes and towards the basket, right? And on the right, you can see the common shots that the Houston Rockets took. So if you can clearly see, they have taken more shots on the three-point line and near the basket, and have more or less completely abandoned the mid-range shot. Now, this is consistent with the statistics, which shows that three-point shots have gone high and the mid-range jumpers have gone down. Now, what does this all mean? It means that NBA and basketball are effectively changing with the data that they've been receiving. And the data clearly says that three-point shots and shots near the basket are the most effective shots as compared to the mid-range jumpers, which is why you can clearly see that the Houston Rockets have adopted their game plan according to their statistics. Now, a lot of you who watch basketball will know this term called small ball, right? Anyone of you heard of that term, small ball or micro ball? If you want, you can use a chat and say yes or some thumbs up or anything of that sort. Okay, so basically what the Houston Rockets do is they play this basketball style called the small ball, wherein they employ or they play players which are traditionally not the big men, but are very agile, are very technically skilled. Technically skilled as in they're very good shooters, they're very agile, you know, they can make quick runs and all. So if you watch the Houston Rockets play, you've usually seen them take three-point shots. I mean, one of the most iconic shots is like the James Harden step back three, right? Like he just ankle breaks and then he steps back and then he takes a three-point shot. Now, what that means is the Houston Rockets have bought into the idea that data analytics changes the game in a way that will be the most beneficial to them. And another stat to tell you all is the 2018 season, that's when the Rockets made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. They were the leading three-point shooting team. And the MVP that season was James Harden. And he had the best three-point shooting in that year. Now, with all that said and done, what are some of the criticisms of data analytics? Now, any of you who watched NBA should be very familiar with this meme, right? The Houston Rockets choking every year. And if you're aware of it, okay, not a lot of inputs, but I can assume from the general expressions that you guys are more or less aware about this. So for those of you who are not aware, the Houston Rockets are known to blow their chances in the playoffs. I think it was 2014 when they got knocked out of the Western Conference semifinals by Damian Lillard's buzzer beater. Then in 2018, they got thrashed by the Golden State Warriors. And this year, the Lakers just swept them aside. And for all the good that data analytics provide them, they just cannot win an NBA title. I mean, forget a title. They can't even make it to the Western Conference Finals. So with that in mind, what are some of the criticisms of data analytics? 4 of them. They're repetitive, boring, imperfect, and easy for opposition to understand. Now, let's talk about repetitive. Okay, we got a chat here. The RCB of... Okay, I mean, not everyone would understand that reference, but yeah, kind of. Very exciting, or what do you say? Very effective, but then they blow the important chances. Now, what do you mean by repetitive? When data analytics tells you that three-point shots and the dunks and free throws are the most effective shots, then the team buys into that game plan that they're only going to do this. Because statistically, these are the most effective shots. So why should I go do something that is not going to be effective for me? What that means is your game plan will be rigid to taking three-point shots and, what do you say, completely abandoning the mid-range jumpers as well as, free as well as taking more free throws and dunks. Now, with the idea of repetitiveness comes the fact that their game plan becomes boring. I mean, you don't want to go to every match and see the same game plan in front of you. You want to see something different, something exciting. That's why we watch sports, right? To entertain ourselves. And you can't be entertained by watching the same stuff over and over and over again. Now, moving on from boring, we move into the aspect of imperfect. Now, yes, these data analytics can understand numbers, can understand shots, can understand effectiveness. But can a data analytics program understand the psychology of players? Does it factor in the team chemistry? Does it factor in your psychological well-being at that point in time? Because numbers will tell you that a player is very good at shooting, but it doesn't tell you how that player feels at that point in time. I mean, let's talk about any one of us. Like when we're in a good state of mind, we can do things. But when we're not in a good state of mind, we tend to blow the easiest of things also. We can't understand what we're doing because we are so consumed in our frustrations and all those negative feelings that we can't think perfect. So one of the criticisms about data analytics is that it doesn't factor in the human side. And that is one of the most important things to factor in, because the human side is what gives us those fantastic storylines in NBA. Like, let's talk about the Denver Nuggets this year. They came back from 2-3-1 down score lines. They even beat the Los Angeles Clippers, which were considered one of the best teams in this year's NBA. Now, from a data analytics standpoint, that would have been impossible because you only have to win one game and you've got last year's MVP. No, last year's MVP was Giannis. No, last year's, was it finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard? Yeah, it was, right. So in the Western Conference Finals, the Nuggets were playing the Clippers, who were 3-1 down, and they were playing against last year's NBA MVP Finals. Statistically speaking, it was impossible for them to come back. But how did they come back? Their never say die attitude. Now, can the never say die attitude be quantified in numerical terms or in data points? Maybe not. But does that mean it cannot? Well, it is difficult to say because over the course of time, technology will improve and will make the programs and softwares more dynamic and more understanding of the nuances of the sport. And easy for opposition to understand game plan. Now, if you are repetitive, the opposition won't take a long time to understand, okay, they play this way, so we'll have to create a game plan. A good point about this was the Los Angeles Lakers, who swept aside the Houston Rockets in the Western Conference by 4-1. Now, I mean, if any of you watched that game, you would have seen Russell Westbrook missing shots. I mean, he was even called Russell Westbrook at a point in time because he kept taking 3-pointers and he kept missing those. So when a team, plays a repetitive style, it's easy for the opposition to understand their game plan. Now, with that in mind, do you guys have anything else to talk about this, or any inputs you want to say, or any questions?
So the first thing I was thinking about was just I don't know, as a criticism, the whole idea of sports is kind of to showcase what's possible by humans, right? To showcase human talent and stuff. So I mean, the idea of data analytics, it's cool now to as I think technology has advanced so much that we can pretty much predict how good a game would go if you did certain moves. But to be honest, in the long term, I feel like it would, like you said, it would make it kind of boring for if they just implemented this in every single sports league. So, I mean, I guess it's cool, but in moderate quantities. That's just my opinion. Absolutely.
I mean, that is a very important point because data analytics equals repetitiveness, and repetitiveness is boring. And that's not the reason why we watch sports. We watch sports to, enjoy fantastic storylines, comeback moments, the underdog moments, something that data cannot really quantify and give you on hand. Any other inputs or your thoughts about this? Anyone, anything. You can use a chat function also. It'll be cool.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Okay, you just joined now. I won't blame you.
Yeah.
Right. So we were talking about data analytics and the NBA, and we were just talking about some of the criticisms of data analytics that, when you use data and when you decide that these shots are effective and this is not, then you start playing in a particular way and you play that style over and over again, which makes it boring. So we're just asking members if they have any opinions about data analytics in sports in general. Okay, we've got a chat. Okay, what's the issue? Okay. Anything else you want to talk about, or any thought you have in mind?
Like the movie Moneyball.
Right. Right. So that's a very good point. Okay, so since it's 5, I won't take much more time because the project section is going to start. So yeah, I mean, Moneyball was derived from the movie Moneyball. I recommend you to watch that movie. It was about how was it the Cleveland Browns?
Oakland
No.
Athletics.
Oh wait, was Oakland Browns, right?
Oakland Athletics.
Oakland Athletics. So it's a movie about how the Oakland Athletics, a small MLB team, used data analytics and recruited cheap players, but players with a lot of potential, and how they made a championship run. But they didn't quite win it, but then they defied quite a few odds. And they highlight data analytics in a positive way. Okay, we've got breakout. Okay, so since nobody has anything more to say, I would like to say thank you very much. It was our very first discussion. Hope you all had a good time. And if you have any inputs, do let me know. And for the next discussion, we'll be taking inputs on what you guys want to talk about, and we'll tailor our discussion accordingly, because as our first discussion, we didn't quite know what you all would want to talk about. So we decided let's start out with a case study. So hope you all had a good time. If you have anything to add or suggest, please do use Discord. It would be really appreciated.
Yes.
And there he goes.
All right. Thank you guys so much for that. That was great, Sagar and Tanmay. That was awesome. That was our first discussion meeting. All right. Should we get started with the next stuff, like the project meeting?
Indeed.
Awesome. Do you want to stop recording so that we can upload as 2 separate videos, or you want to do that in post?
We can break it afterwards.
Okay. Also, yeah.
It's gonna be kind of long though, right? Because for me, it took like half an hour to process for like an hour long. Sorry, 35 minutes. So you may just want to stop the recording now, and then start another one.